think I know pretty much everybody in here, but just a little bit about me. I'm Kimberly Young, and I am very excited to get to teach this class. I am an accountant, and I teach accounting and personal finance at Greenville Tech. Personal finance is my passion, and okay, good, it's working. I've written 2 books on personal finance. One of them is Live a Wonderful Life Free of Financial Stress. I wrote that like 10 years ago whenever I was a stay-at-home mom and we had one small income. And I found a lot of untraditional ways to save money. And I wanted to share that with others because I had lots of friends whose husbands were rich and were doctors and all that. And they're like, we just can't pay our bills. I'm like, y'all, for real. Like, we're making like $32,000 a year and we're okay. Of course, this was before the inflation. But, and then I just finished writing Big Bucks, a money management book for teenagers that's going to cover money basics, investing, and entrepreneurship. So that is going to come out super soon. So obviously it is important for us to be in control of our finances. We're supposed to be good stewards of our money. So first I want to talk about why it is super important. Of course, the list could go on forever, but some statistics. Okay, financial issues is one of the leading causes of divorce. Why is this? A lot of times people get married and we have one saver and one spender. That is a lot of conflict, right? We got one person that's racking up the bills and the other one's like, why don't you just put it in the bank? Or we get 2 savers and who knows how much they're spending. Or my husband and I, we are both savers. I said 2 savers, 2 spenders. Who knows how much they're spending? We are both savers, but still, like, he spends money on things that are just dumb. Like weed killer. Weed killer for $60. Like, go pull the weeds, right? And he might think I spend money on stuff that's dumb, but I don't know why. And then the average credit card debt, this is actually lower than I expected, but it's about $9,000. Of course, the average has some people like us that pay off our credit card every month in full that brings it down, but credit card debt can really, really weigh people down. So much so that according to CNBC, 56% of adults lose sleep over money. So we all see people living these wonderful lives and you're like, man, I wish I had that awesome pool or that awesome car or those cool clothes. Well, they might look like they are living a great life while they're awake during the day, but at night it's keeping them up. So very important to not let your image get, the best of you to where you end up in debt. And I thought this one was interesting. I wasn't shocked because obviously there's stress with this, but being in debt is associated with nearly double the risk of being overweight. How many of us like to eat when we're stressed? I like to eat all the time, but I also heard another financial advisor say that a lot of times whenever people start getting out of debt, they automatically start losing weight. So I thought that was interesting because anytime that we're stressed, we're losing sleep, that can cause that issue. So we're gonna, hit the wrong thing there. We're gonna start out with a dreaded word. Anybody want to guess what it is? Budget. Right, budget. It was dreaded. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to do a budget. I think that most of you probably have a pretty good grasp on it. I'm not going to go too far in depth. So we're going to talk about some basic stuff. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about retirement and a bit about investments depending on how much time we have. We don't have a lot of time. I wish this could be super interactive, but with this time constraint, we can't do that too much. But your budget has a lot to do with, how tight you need to be with money, right? We always, even if you make a ton of money, you could still spend more than you make. I'll tell you, 2 of my husband's friends, they don't even live in this state, but they have wives, and this is not always the case. A lot of times the husbands are the ones that spend the money, but they have wives that spend a ridiculous amount of money. They're making over $200,000, way more than we're making. I work at Greenville Tech, guys, and they are going further and farther into debt every single month. So even if you make a lot of money, it doesn't mean that you're really well off, right? And the more stuff you buy, a lot of times the more that can cause stress as well. But we'll talk about clutter in a minute because that's something we almost all have, right? I'm glad that Candace is not in here. She's great about the the minimalistic. I'm not as good at that. All right, so some things to talk about with a budget. So the first thing you want to do is put in your income. So mainly that's going to be your salary. Maybe you've got some money coming in from investments, or maybe you got a little side Etsy job, or maybe you sell crockett doodles. You probably do, since you're in this room, right? Somebody told us, they're like, either you got to sell crockett doodles or you got to go to Bob Jones. It's one or the other. You can't be at Morningside. So a key word here, though, with income and with expenses is realistic. If you normally work 30 hours a week and you're like, I'm going to make my budget and just assume I'm going to start being able to work 40 hours a week, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You want to make sure you're being very realistic in your budget. And then the next thing that I like to put is savings. So what's one big thing we all need to consider in our savings? House, is it? Yeah. Yep, saving for a house, whether that be for a down payment or make sure that you have that money to pay your mortgage. Corinne, that's what I was looking for, emergency fund. Well, isn't that convenient? Emergency fund is one of the first things you want to make sure you save for. All right, this is not on there. How much do experts say you need to have in an emergency fund? 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. It doesn't have to be your income if you're not spending all of your income. If you're spending more than your income, like a lot of Americans, then maybe, I think it is, I can't remember the statistic. It was way over a half of Americans spend more than what they make. So that's a real shame. And I think it was, I'm not going to make up statistics or I'll get it wrong, but a huge portion making well over 6 figures are living paycheck to paycheck. So they're just waiting for that next check to be able to pay for their expenses. But setting aside the money for savings to build up that 3 to 6 months of living expenses, or to set that money aside for retirement or for a house, go ahead and do that before you even look at your expenses. Say, hey, I want to make sure I'm putting this money aside. And then again, we want to be really realistic with our expenses. It's very easy to estimate how much our rent or mortgage is, right? We know that's a fixed expense. It's the same every single month. What's some things that vary a lot? Starbucks. What else? Groceries. Yes. Utilities vary. Yep. So yeah, one of the biggest things we can control is the groceries, eating out, Starbucks. If you go to Starbucks, you're wasting your money. Kenneth, what is that? That looks like that might be a reusable cup. Maybe it's okay. All right, I like it. So, you want to look at that and see where you can cut back on expenses, and we're going to talk about ways to cut back on basic expenses. But one thing you don't want to forget in your expenses is your tithe. Make sure that you are tithing. Make sure you account for that before you finish that budget up. You want to make sure that's one of the first things that you pay for out of your budget. Spending $27.40 a day adds up to $10,000 a year. That's right now eating out for 2 people, right? So if you eat out every day, 2 people, then that's at a fairly cheap place at Shalotsky's, which is like the best. I love that place. Not that I eat out, but so some ways that we can cut expenses. So dining out. Okay, I'm not the best cook, and I don't love to cook. So, yep, my daughter agrees. So we do like to eat out a lot. We try not to eat out, more than a few times a week. And then when we do eat out, we're not going to Ruth's Chris or even Olive Garden on a regular basis. We go places like Moe's with the kids' meals, and now they eat adult meals, and I eat 2 kids' meals. But don't tell the cashier, because I don't like that. Or we try to go places with coupons and stuff like that.
On Wednesday night.
Okay.
For 99 cents from 5 to 8.
Okay, nice. And all these.
For every one adult, you get 2 kids meals.
Nice. Okay, so everybody's got lots of kids. That's great. Yes, good. Yeah, Firehouse used to do that, and now they've just disappoint us because Firehouse is not cheap if you don't go with free kids meals. But you can find ways to eat for cheaper and still enjoy good tasting food, even though I don't make the best tasting food, and not spend as much. My husband looks like, no, I don't agree. So maybe, he's trying to be nice. All right, buying name brand foods. How many of you buy generic foods? All right, so I think that, a lot of times the generic, first of all, a lot of times it's made in the same factory that the name brand is made in. You're paying extra for that adorable little honeybee on your, Cheerios, on your Honey Nut Cheerios. You could get the off-brand for several dollars cheaper and not have to pay for that advertising. So, a lot of times the name brand is the same and you could get it for much cheaper if you get off-brand. And I'm going to look at some different grocery stores with y'all in just a minute. Entertainment. What kind of stuff do y'all like to do for entertainment?
Go to drag racing.
Go to drag racing. Is that? I don't know how much that costs, Chris. That's a bad example. It's only $10? Okay, all right. So that I approve. That's pretty good. Do what? Go to Big Air. Yes. Okay. So a lot of the entertainment places here, even like Spare Time, that has awesome laser tag. Look, nobody can beat up on a bunch of little 8-year-olds better than I can at laser tag. It makes me feel fantastic. I'm like, I got all y'all. I've got the high score. They're all crying. It's like a whole thing. But they have half price days. It's Wednesday, so you gotta make sure you go before church. But even Dave & Buster's has half price on other arcade games and things like that. They've got, during the summer, you can watch movies for $1 instead of paying a ridiculous amount of money. Or you could stay at home and watch a movie and eat as much popcorn as you want and get to have a nice cozy blanket and even go to the bathroom without having to worry about missing a good part of the movie. So lots of ways to enjoy life without having to spend tons of money on that. Vacations. Sometimes we've been on vacation and it's like everybody around us, I feel like, are just like, yes, we're on vacation. We're just going to spend all the money because we deserve this. What you deserve is to be able to sleep at night and not be stressed about all the debt you got in because of vacation. So, set money aside. We have a separate account just for vacation. We'll put money into that account every month so that when we want to go on vacation, we can say, oh, wow, we can go to Costa Rica or Hilton Head or maybe grandma's house. So we can choose by how much money we put aside for vacation. And then, of course, you can cut back on services that you might have, lawn services. You can save money not going to the gym, not having to pay somebody to do your lawn, and not have to go to the tanning bed. Do what? Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, Huffman's there. You can cut back on all that if you just do your own yard work, right? And you don't even have to buy the $60 weed killer. Nobody in particular. I did see other people pointing at their husbands for the weed killer, though. All right, so does it matter where I shop? Of course, it matters a lot where you shop, where you go to get your groceries. All right, where do y'all like to go to get groceries? Aldi, Ingles, okay. Publix. All right. I'm going to change that right now. Ingles and Publix. Sam's Club, yes, we do get a lot at Sam's Club. All right, so I went to the 3 different grocery stores on Woodruff Road, and I found the exact same size, exact same products at each of these stores, and we're going to see what the difference in price is. How much do you think these Quaker oatmeal squares is at Aldi?
$3.45.
Is it actually Quaker?
I don't have like a prize or anything, so but that was pretty close. $3 and well, did I? Okay, yes. I went too far. Okay, Walmart, $4.90. Okay, so you're paying more than $1 extra just to go to Walmart. Publix. Yeah, do not act surprised. Y'all knew Publix was expensive. People don't walk your groceries to your car for free. That's very expensive. $6.41. Wow. Okay, how about this Oscar Mayer turkey breast? 16 ounces. So I did not put Aldi on here. Even though they have lots of substitutes, they didn't have the exact same brand, so I didn't put Aldi, but Walmart was $7.47, which in itself was expensive. Publix was $10.19, the exact same thing, you know, a fourth of a mile down the road from the other one. And last, I've got Ballpark bun-sized beef hot dogs. I love hot dogs, but my family doesn't like hot dogs very much. So just looking at that makes me hungry. Walmart, $7.56, very similar to the turkey. And Publix, $10.99. Okay, so if you just need a couple items and you're like, here's a Publix, look, I don't have time to be going to Aldi or to Walmart, I get it. But if you go in there and buy 40 items for the week, you just spend an extra $120 just because they treat you nice. Okay, well, go to Aldi where people are running into you and you got to pay for a cart and all that. You got to bag your own groceries, but you just saved an extra $100 for the exact same items. And I do find that Aldi has really high quality food. So I love the foods from Aldi. So I don't have to worry about the coupons. I know there are some people who are like, I go to 5 different grocery stores every week because they got buy one, get one over here. And I'm like, good for you, but I do not want to go to 5 different grocery stores. The worst job ever would be the Instacart person for me. I hate grocery shopping. I don't know how you could possibly enjoy grocery shopping, even with somebody else's money. All right, a little more on the topic. Okay, so don't overspend at Christmas. This is another thing, kind of like vacations. People get wild, right? Well, just remember that, you know, look, if it's your kids, you gave birth to them, or, you know, it might be the husband, but you provide food for them, shelter for them. Let grandma be the superstar at Christmas. Don't go in debt over trying to win your child's affection. So, you know, making your New Year's resolution to get out of debt, let's just not get in debt at Christmas in the first place. Don't try to buy their affection. What's some ways that we can still give people great gifts but not have to spend all that money? Any ideas?
Give service or time.
Gift cards. Do what?
Give service or time.
Okay, a service or time. Yeah, that's great. Handmade things. Yeah, now the Cricut and the Silhouette, those are great for being able to hand make stuff. Yard sale, girl, we're getting a yard sale. You know we're getting a yard sale. Re-gifts. Look, I don't want it, but somebody else is going to love this. And also, like, you know that these things are coming up. So you've got months to shop for Mother's Day. Not pointing any fingers at people who didn't shop for Mother's Day, but you got months to shop for Christmas, for birthdays. And you've got time to find that really special gift for somebody. It doesn't have to be like, oh no, it's Mom's birthday tomorrow. Let's run to the store as fast as possible and spend a ton of money. And even the generic birthdays, like, you know, your kids are going to get invited to, you know, all these classmates' parties. When you see stuff that's a great price, go ahead and buy it ahead of time so you don't have to worry about spending a bunch of money when that time comes. Credit card. Oh, wait. We're doing yard sales first. Calm down. Hold on. All right, we're doing yard sales first. Okay, yard sales. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love to go to yard sales. You can find fantastic deals. And anybody else like to yard sale in here? Yeah, and this is a great area for going yard selling because there's a lot of really nice houses around. And those people, like, they don't know what stuff's worth. They don't need the money, so they just don't want to donate it. So you can go in there and get all kinds of expensive stuff. This necklace was $1, this dress was $1, these shoes were $1. I got a $3 outfit on from yard sales. So y'all thought I wore green for money, but nope, it was for yard sales. You can find all kinds of great things. Of course, you could also accumulate a lot of clutter from going to those too much as well. So we'll talk about that in a minute. What about credit cards? What do y'all think about credit cards? Good, bad? Cut them up. I have a picture of it cut up, but I will say I use my credit card for everything. I love my credit card. I have two, one for Amazon, one that's a physical card, but you have to pay that card off 100% every month or you are getting taken advantage of. They're charging that interest. It's going to take you, my mom was reading her thing the other day, her bill, and she said, you know, it says you charge $1,400 this month. If you pay it off, the minimum payment each time, it'll take you 9 years to pay this off, and you're going to pay like $3,600. wow. So all those discounts we got, all those points we got for using a credit card, they just went down the drain because you're paying the minimum payment. So you need to pay it 100% off. If you cannot do that, you can't control that, then you're going to need to cut up the credit cards because it's not going to do you any favors. So that's very important. Told you we're going to talk about clutter. Okay, so sometimes one of the best ways to prevent yourself from spending too much money is to declutter. We don't have a ton of clutter, but we have a lot of blankets. I love blankets. I even put blankets on when I'm sitting on the couch in the middle of the summer. And blankets are great as gifts, right? A lot of people give blankets as gifts to women especially because they're so soft and wonderful. We had, I think, 20 blankets in the I want to say pantry, but that would be weird. In the linen closet. We had 20 blankets, and we're like, Kelly, my husband's like, we got to get rid of some of these blankets. This is terrible. So we line them up on the hallway, and we decided to get rid of about half of the blankets. You know, it was so nice to be able to put them in the closet without cramming them in there, without pulling one out, and you get, you know, like you suffocate amongst all of them that fell on you. And then when I went to Sam's Club a few days later, and they had these great blankets that it was just, I was rubbing my face on them and everything. And I'm like, you know what? We just got rid of a bunch of blankets. I don't need this blanket. So sometimes decluttering can help you understand, I do not need more stuff. It feels great to get rid of this. So I would strongly suggest you try to do that as well. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about retirement. Anybody already retired in here? Corinne? Okay, great. That's great. 12 years old. All right, retirement. Can I really achieve it? I'm going to show you some awesome numbers. I'm glad there are several really young adults in here because I've got some numbers to show you that's going to be amazing. All right, so some myths about retirement. And is there anybody talking about retirement in any of these classes, or it's just going to be investments, I guess?
There will be some later on.
Okay, so this is a little taste of whatever they're going to talk about. And then I'll talk a little bit about investing, but there'll be more about that in one of the future classes. You can depend on Social Security to live to pay for your living expenses. Yeah, we all know that's pretty laughable, right? But you know, Social Security was never meant to cover all of your expenses in retirement. It's not just because they've gone in debt and they're spending our money even though we're never going to see it and all that. I don't know what's going to happen. But it was never intended to be, you know, your full retirement. So, and now there's not much for pensions. So who's it up to save for your retirement? Yourself, right? So you're going to have to save for that. But I'm going to show you some awesome facts about saving for that. First, another myth, you'll spend less when you retire. What are some things you'll spend money on when you retire? What does everybody want to do when they retire? Travel, yep. Hobbies, yep. Do what? Way more medical expenses and more expensive to get coverage for medical costs, yep. Definitely. It doesn't seem like my grandparents ever bought clothes. I think my grandpa wore the same outfit from the age he retired till he was 95. But there are a lot of other expenses that, you know, you have when you retire. So don't expect that to be the case, especially because, like this beautiful background, most people want to be able to travel to some extent and not just sit at home crocheting or whatever the stereotype is. You have plenty of time to start saving for retirement. You should definitely start saving at like age 60 if you want to retire at 62. That's a great idea, right? No, we're going to see why saving young is super duper important in just a minute. One more myth is saving just a little bit won't help. So let's look at, this is my favorite chart when I show my personal finance students. This is Saver Abe, okay, and he's 25 years old. He saves $2,000 every year for 10 years. So from age 25 to age 34, he saves $2,000 each year. How much money did he save total of his own money? $20,000. 10 years of $2,000 a piece. Not that hard. Can I walk around here? Is it gonna be? Am I gonna be out of the
Yeah, you'll be out, but we'll hear you if you.
All right, I'll yell. All right, so he didn't put any more money in after he was 34. When he was 65, he had only contributed $20,000. This was invested at 9% interest, and his total at the end, because of compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world according to Einstein, was $545,000. He put $20,000 in. It's now $545,000. So that's a return of $525,000. So that is a lot of money, and that's compound interest at work. We'll talk a little bit about some different types of investments, because a lot of people are like, 9%, that's insane, you can't get that. I asked my bank. Yeah, that's not the place to go to get 9% interest. The next chart, this person also did great. They started saving at age 35. I'm 35 right now, so maybe I should start doing it like this. They saved $2,000 every year from age 35 to age 65. That was a total of $62,000. It turned out to be $352,000 at the end. That's still awesome, but it's not great compared to what it could have been. So for those of you who are still in your mid to early 20s or even to late 20s, hopefully you can start saving $2,000 a year, put that stuff in a mutual fund, and you will really see that grow, and you don't even have to think about it. Thoughts on that? Thumbs up? All right, good. I got a thumbs up. Were you raising your hand?
Well, yeah, and if you can start sooner.
Yes, absolutely.
You set up a Roth IRA, just follow similar numbers, and it's going to be crazy great if you can fall through.
Yes, this is true. I don't think anybody besides my daughters is under 25 in here, but that is very true. Starting even younger is important. So tell your kids if that's the situation. And my personal finance book for teens talks about that. Okay, so what are some options for saving your money? So we got bank accounts. Good luck keeping up with inflation, especially if it continues the way it has. How much interest do you get in your bank account? If it's a checking account, it's like 0.01%, right? And you're like, I got 25 cents this month. Well, you must have had a lot of money in there. Now, especially for the online banks, we are seeing closer to 3 or 4% interest in savings accounts. So it does seem that you can find higher rates on online banks. And then there's the stock market. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Bonds. So we're not going to dig into that or anything, but bonds it's debt that companies are issuing that you can earn interest on, and that's typically going to be a good bit higher than a bank account. And then mutual funds, that's going to be where you're getting a little bit of stocks, a little bit of bonds. It's kind of like if, John says, I don't know if I should buy this stock or this stock, and this whole class says, we're going to go in together and buy a little bit of all of them and share them. So that's what mutual funds are. And within that, you can get index funds that are going to invest within different indexes like the Dow Jones or S&P 500. And those, on average, over the last 100 years, have returned almost 10% every year. So it's not impossible to get 10% interest. There's, of course, going to be some down years, but if it's for the long run, then you've got time to make money with that. And then there's options with real estate that we'll talk about at the end. So stocks, how many of you are a little nervous about stocks? Okay, so nervous that this is what I saw. Like several little, I don't even want to say I'm nervous. All right, so some main things you want to do is do your research. Do not just say, hey, my friend Bob said that this is a great thing to invest in. Well, Bob's broke, so let's not listen to Bob. Let's listen to somebody that knows what they're talking about and do our own research. Honestly, who's some people you might listen to on a large scale?
Kelly Young.
Kelly Young, obviously. Who's somebody big that a lot of us listen to with investments? Nathan Crockett, maybe. Dave Ramsey, Warren Buffett. Who's the newest one? Elon Musk. Yeah. So I'm not saying do everything they say to do, but you know, those are people you might say, you know what, they seem to know a little bit about what they're talking about. I saw a YouTube video of this couple that was like, you know what, guys, we figured out how to make money real fast. You just want to put money in the stock market when it's low, and then you want to sell it when it's high, and that's how you make money. And they were like, does Warren Buffett know about this? So, yeah, that's great, but how do you do that? You need to make sure you're keeping up with what's going on in the economy and stuff. Don't sell when the market is low. So buying when everyone else is selling, or buy when everyone else is selling, hold when everyone else is buying. That's not just a catchy slogan. It is the essence of successful investing. Very true. If you want to make money, when you see it dropping down, that is not the time to freak out and sell, unless, of course, that is what's one that's just went out of business, Bed Bath & Beyond or something like that. That one you might be like, okay, I better pull out of this. Some resources to do your research. So Investopedia.com has an awesome simulation. We do this with college classes, and I did this at a middle school club that I did this year. They will give you $1 million. You could do this with your kids or do this yourself. They give you $1 million in play money to invest in the real stock market, and whatever's happening in the stock market is going to happen to your money. So it is a great way to familiarize yourself. If there are fees for certain companies, then it will charge those fees. So it's a great way to kind of understand it without putting your own money at risk. Bankrate.com has lots of great calculations, and they have asset allocation. At my age, should I be putting all my money in something really safe, or should I be spreading it out amongst things that are a little riskier? That will help you. They have mortgage calculators, all kinds of great stuff on there. YouTube, I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but there's a lot of great investors on there that you can, again, you want to do your own research, but what's some of the names of the guys that you like? Put you on the spot, yeah. Yeah, Andre Gilt. He's very good at explaining different things that are going on in the stock market. Finance.yoohoo, that's just what, did I say yoo-hoo? That does sound good though, right? Yoo-hoos? Yahoo.com. Any company that's public, you go on there and you can see what price their stock is at that time, and if it's high or low for the time. You can look at all their financials and great stuff like that. So if you're completely unfamiliar with the stock market, want to play around with it more, that's some good resources for you to use. Anybody had great success in the stock market that wants to share? Okay, I'm glad y'all came to class then. All right, ways to get money that you need to start investing. Okay, so I'm already barely able to pay my bills. I don't have my money that I need for emergency fund, and now you want me to start investing $2,000 a year. This is getting ridiculous. Well, let's look at some ways that we could do this. First, you want to pay your bills and start that emergency fund before you start investing your money, especially if you start getting into riskier things. What's something that's great if you're ready for some big risk? Cryptocurrency, yes, cryptocurrency. So, you know, I think that there's some potential to make money there, but that needs to be some play money that you're ready to lose, not money that you're going to need to pay your rent with. That is just for, yeah, it's like gambling, basically. Do not invest money that you're going to need soon. Do not put your money for groceries into, you know, a risky investment, because you may end up losing that, right? The riskier the investment, a lot of times the more money you can make off of it, but also that means you have a higher chance of losing it. So there's a lot of safer investments like Apple or Amazon or Walmart, but you know, if you get into newer companies, they can be a lot riskier. Make a special savings effort a couple times a year. I need to get some money. I want to start putting money into investments. Maybe 3 different weeks out throughout the year, you say, I'm not going to buy any groceries this week. I have a ridiculous amount of stuff in my freezer that should be eaten. We just keep putting stuff on top of it that we want a lot more. The pantry that does not have blankets in it, that also has a ridiculous amount of food that we should be eating. So sometimes it's like, let's just not go to the grocery store this week. Let's save that money, or find other ways to just make a really special savings effort. I work with a lady who, she just always spending, but she was like, I just got into a lot of debt. I had paid off my credit cards. So this month, I'm going to try to do better. I'm not going to get my hair done. I am not going to go buy new shoes. I'm not going to buy new clothes. I'm not going to get my nails done. I'm like, girl, you are spending a lot of money. Let's try to cut back on that, for good, not just this month. She said she went from making $90,000 to $50,000 a year, and she realizes that she can cover all of her expenses with that, and her husband works and has a good job too. She's like, but I never saved a penny of that $40,000 difference. I just spent all $40,000 of that. Now I'm like, wow, I could have lived great and not have, been spending that amount. So don't be like that. Whenever you get a gift, you get your taxes back, you get an inheritance, whatever it might be, this is not time to go buy yourself all new wardrobe or to, go buy yourself a boat. Now, if you have all your finances in line, maybe it is. But if you have debt you need to pay off, or you need to set up a savings account for your emergency fund, or you want to put some money into investments, this is a great time to do that. So everybody knows somebody who they get a big chunk of money and you're like, well, great, they have been struggling for years. And then you're like, whoa, they just bought a new car. Okay, that was not what I saw coming. They're still going to keep struggling. So don't be that person. I always tell my kids there's 3 types of people in the world. There are the people who do not learn from their mistakes. There are the people who do learn from their mistakes. And then there's the person you want to be who learns from others' mistakes. So you don't have to do it yourself. You learn before you run into that. And of course, if you want to get some money just for investing, you can earn some extra money on the side. There's so many ways now to earn some extra money. Corinne, my 12-year-old, she just started a business where she is going to be renting out giant games like Connect 4 for events and things like that. So she's found a way to make, not extra money, to make money. She didn't have a job, but she found a way to do that. So are you willing to make the sacrifices that you need to reach your goals? That's something important to consider. I've set these certain goals. I want to retire at age 55 instead of 65. I want to be able to buy a home whenever I'm 30. Whatever your goal might be, that's great. But what are you doing to get to that goal is super important. All right, we have a few minutes left here, and I'm just going to talk about investing in real estate. So some options with investing in real estate is flipping a house. We've all seen that on TV. How does that go for the people on TV? They have a lot of drama, but they always end up doing great, and everything works out well. And you definitely can make some quick money on that. That's a lot of work. Anybody ever done that before? Anybody flipped a house? All right. Same family, okay. Yes. Y'all are great at real estate. So that is a great option. What's a way to save a lot of money if you flip a house? Do it yourself. So finding ways to do that yourself. Now, do you have time to do it? Are you working a full-time job outside of that? That's a big thing. Drew, you're in architecture, right? So, but can you actually do it yourself, or do you just draw the plans? Okay, all right. I wasn't sure. Long-term leasing. So you can get tenants in that, they're going to rent your house for a year or two. My husband and I did that for a couple of houses that we had lived in, and then we rented them out. You can make some money doing that, especially if you buy the right house in the right area and plan that out well. You're not likely to make, to be able to quit your job because you have one long-term rental, but you can make some money doing that. What my husband just left his job a year ago at age 45, and he is now just taking care of our VRBOs, our short-term rentals, so vacation rentals. So that is a fantastic way to make money to be able to leave your job. And we would be happy to help if anybody has questions about that. Obviously, there's a lot of capital that you have to be able to put out right in the beginning. And right now, he is remodeling the house that we bought most recently and doing all that stuff himself. So now he has every tool. We've talked about this. He has every tool at Home Depot now. So, yeah. I'm like, what is that? How much was that? Was that more weed killer? Just kidding. But those are fantastic ways. People spend a lot of money on Airbnbs, on short-term rentals. So that is a great way to invest money, but it's a big capital up front. And then if you're like, I'd like to get into that, but I don't want to put that capital in, or I don't want to do that work myself, then there are real estate investment trusts. And that's where you're investing. It's like investing in the stock market in companies that do these real estate. They have income making real estate. So you can have a little piece of that instead. And of course, right now, you could make money by selling your house most likely. But then, how much do you pay for a new house? That's always the big question. All right, so that is my little bit of touching on money basics, a little bit of retirement, a little bit of investment. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast through that, but look, I finished 2 minutes early. Anybody have any comments or questions? Anybody? Corinne, why don't you ask after? Okay, what's your comment?
If you buy stuff right after the holiday, then you can save like 90% than if you actually buy it on the holiday. And then you just use the same stuff next year, but you get it for like 10% of it. Yep.
I like opening our Christmas box to see all of the new stuff I bought when it was 75 to 90% off. So we just celebrate Christmas in January. It's fine.